You're a real piece of work. Other transmigrators treat their systems like gods. But you reported your own system directly to Hongjun. All because the system gave you an impossible task. Collect 300 types of native resources from the primordial world within 3 days. The reward was merely the cultivation of a true immortal. But the penalty for failure was total erasure of your existence. The look of ecstasy on your face vanished like a receding tide, disappearing rapidly. In your view, the rewards and punishments described by the system were completely disproportionate. You have to understand, this is the primordial world. A random weed here could become a legendary celestial herb sought after by millions in later generations. At this time, a true immortal is a completely insignificant existence. Even without the system's reward, given the current resources of the primordial world, you could reach the strength of a true immortal just by digging and eating wild vegetables. Looking back, the task issued by the system is beyond ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. Never mind collecting 300 different resources within 3 days. If you don't gain some strength immediately, you feel like you might not even survive the night. Frowning deeply, you tentatively asked, "Can you upgrade my strength first? After all, with my current power, it's very hard to survive in the primordial world." The system ignored the plea in your voice, responding only coldly, "But with my strength, I simply can't meet your requirements. Did you go to all that trouble to bring me to the primordial world? Just to watch me get killed by some random roadside monster? Aren't you a Dragon Aeotian system? Isn't your existence meant to help me become an unstoppable protagonist?" Sensing the indifferent words in your mind, you finally noticed something strange. The system's voice this time wasn't a cold mechanical sound, but carried a trace of emotion, a hint of disdain and mockery. Just do your work honestly, and this system naturally won't mistreat you. Otherwise, I'll destroy your body and soul right now. Silence. Faced with the system's threat, it seemed you couldn't put up any resistance. But you didn't yield. Looking up at the azure sky, your gaze gradually became firm, and you let out a deafening roar. "Heavenly Tao above, Tao ancestor, witness this. I, Yi Chongsheng, from a later generation, report a system invading the primordial world. I implore the Heavenly Tao to take action. Take action now, even though you were just an ordinary mortal. Because you invoked the name of the Heavenly Tao, it still caused a strange phenomenon. Your voice turned into rolling sound waves, spreading in all directions and reaching high into the heavens. How dare you? Your action was unexpected by the system. By the time it reacted, it was already too late to stop it. It could only rage impotently in your mind, letting out a roar like a trapped beast. If the primordial world at its peak is compared to a computer, then the Heavenly Tao is the background program, and Tao ancestor Hongjun is the administrator. These systems are like various special viruses with strange functions. A system wouldn't fear an aging or weakening computer. But the primordial world is currently at its peak, and it's not something a mere C-grade system can withstand. Die, without hesitation. The moment the system roared, it intended to instantly erase your soul and then flee the primordial world. However, almost at the same time it moved to act. A grand, ancient, and all-encompassing pressure descended from the void. The sky and earth changed color here, and all sounds went silent. At this moment, time and space stopped flowing. The surroundings froze, like amber. The power was terrifyingly immense. Interesting. A calm voice suddenly appeared in your ear. You wanted to find the source of the voice but couldn't move. When space and time are frozen, you naturally can't escape either. You gambled right. You successfully reported the system to the Heavenly Tao, and successfully won a slim chance of survival for yourself. Your thoughts raced. A purple-robed old man slowly stepped out from the void. Though dressed simply, he carried supreme majesty. The old man's gaze swept over you. In his eyes, stars seemed to evolve and laws seemed to rise and fall. A moment later, a flash of surprise crossed his eyes. With a slight wave of his left hand, a point of light slowly flew out from your forehead. Under your gaze, it fell into his palm. Divine light burst from his eyes, enveloping the system that had turned into a point of light. As the Tao ancestor tucked away the system and looked up, a flash of emotion in his eyes vanished instantly. He turned his gaze toward you, sized you up, and spoke faintly. "You are a person from a later generation?" As the Tao ancestor spoke, you regained control of your body. You were about to speak but held it back. Although that so-called Dragon Aeotian system had bad intentions, it was right about one thing. Even if the human race is the future overlord of the world, you are a genuine little weakling right now. In this primordial world full of powerful beings, you truly see no way out. Most have incredible origins, like the first white cloud, the bloodline of Pangu, or the reincarnation of primordial fiendgels. Better to take a risk and see if a bicycle can turn into a motorcycle. Success is best, but if you fail, the worst result is just staying the same. Under extreme stress, two things can happen. 1. The brain becomes muddy and enters a daze. 2. A flash of inspiration makes thoughts much clearer than usual. Fortunately, you were currently in the second state. Having an idea, you no longer hesitated. You took a deep breath of the spiritual primordial air, suppressing your nervousness and anxiety. You bowed down low. Those saints transcend karma and control time. Your karma was covered by a gray mist. Even Tao ancestor Hongjun couldn't see through it in a short time. Therefore, regarding your actions. Interesting. The Tao ancestor still hadn't responded. Quietly watching you. He was also a bit curious. Wanting to know what you would say. Tao ancestor above, please accept your disciple's bow. Your eyes were burning with sincerity. Your words were filled with earnestness. But hearing this, even with Hongjun's composure, he couldn't help but feel a bit stunned. In the primordial world, the master-disciple relationship is taken very seriously. Apprenticeship is a matter of fate and mutual consent. To put it simply, everyone is civilized. But you, without saying a word, just came up and performed the ceremony of apprenticeship. How is this different from calling a stranger, Dad, on the street? The corner of his mouth twitched imperceptibly. The Tao ancestor said with a hint of helplessness, "You are not my disciple right now." He didn't explicitly refuse. Not now, but maybe later. Yes, there's a chance. Hearing Hongjun's answer. After a brief daze, endless joy welled up in your heart. From a certain perspective, no refusal is consent. It's just that now you need to find a reasonable excuse to respond. A better life is right before your eyes. Your brain was running at an unprecedented speed. In less than a minute, you had a script in your head. I, Yi Chongqing from a later generation, have always looked for the Tao. I wasted many years without finding my chance. Now that I am fated to see the Tao ancestor, it is truly a blessing from the heavenly Tao. Destiny has ordained it. In my excitement, I may have been disrespectful. Please forgive me, Master. I hope Master will accept this humble disciple. As you spoke, you bowed again. Tao ancestor stroked his beard and laughed as he scolded. What a sharp-tongued fellow. You want to use these few words to become my, Hongjun's, disciple? I'm afraid it's not enough. Hearing this, your eyes dimmed, and you fell into silence. In an instant, you suddenly remembered the way the two Western saints attained the Tao. In principle, you were the first person in the primordial world to know about systems. Doesn't that make you a first of your kind, as well? Since you've already reported one, there's no difference between once and 100 times. Heavenly Tao above. Currently, there are otherworldly demons masquerading as systems. Using rewards as bait, they trick hosts into damaging the primordial world. Attempting to seize the world's origin. Protecting the primordial world is my duty. From now on, I will become the strongest arm of the heavenly Tao. Seeking out all systems that harm the world and the Tao. As you spoke, the pressure in this frozen space deepened. Sensing the even richer power of the heavenly Tao, you couldn't hide the excitement in your heart. You knew you had gambled correctly once more. Just as the Western saints entered sainthood by making great vows, your oath to the heavenly Tao also received a response. However, the former can be seen as taking a loan from the heavens, while the latter is a declaration of loyalty. To put it simply, Big Brother Heavens, from now on, I'm with you. I hope you'll look out for me. As you finished your last word, a blurry figure appeared before you. The figure was hazy with no visible features, yet possessed all kinds of divine auras. As your voice faded, the hazy figure slowly raised its left hand. You could clearly feel your bones, flesh, cells, and marrow transforming at an incredible speed. Infinite power surged through your body. Earth immortal, true immortal, heaven immortal, golden immortal. Even though you had never touched the path of immortality before, with the rising of your realm, you knew exactly what power you possessed. While stunned, you were filled with wild joy, compared to the pathetic rewards of the Dragon Aeotian system. Big Brother Heavens literally slammed a gold mountain right in front of you. Generous heavenly Tao helped me become a Deluo immortal. In just a moment, you leapt from a weak mortal to the Deluo realm. Even though you had the realm but no corresponding techniques, it was already terrifying. This level of strength in the current primordial world makes you a top-tier expert. Once you reached the Deluo realm, the figure formed by the heavenly Tao then dissipated. Feeling the world-destroying magical power in your body, you suppressed the urge to scream with excitement, trying your best to control your facial expression. According to the original development of the primordial world, in a few eons, Deluo immortals will be everywhere. So, to ensure your safety, you couldn't let go of this master, the Tao ancestor. Disciple deeply feels the profoundness of the Tao. Please, teacher, accept me as your disciple. Without hesitation, you cupped your hands, and once again sent an apprenticeship request to Hongjun. There is indeed a bond of master and disciple between us. However, you are an anomaly, different from the beings of the primordial world. In the future, you may call me teacher. Teacher is just a different title, the meaning is the same. You were stunned for a moment, and after reacting, you hurriedly shouted respectfully to the old man in front of you. Yes, teacher, regarding your loyalty to the heavenly Tao. Hongjun was quite satisfied. After all, in the near future, he will merge with the heavenly Tao. In layman's terms, he will become the controller of the primordial corporation. Your move was equivalent to joining the company early. You are a capable subordinate who can be trusted and groomed. This is not the place to talk. Come with me. With a wave of his sleeve, you felt the world spin. When you regained consciousness, you saw that you were no longer in the forest. Before you could look around, your attention was drawn by a voice. Looking up, you saw Tao ancestor Hongjun sitting on a futon. Above his head, a purple jade plate floated, with thousands of mysteries descending. Everything in the world seemed to be within it. Without any introduction, the moment you saw it, its name jumped into your mind as a reflex, the jade plate of creation. Hongjun's most powerful treasure, said to be transformed when Pangu created the world. It contains the supreme mysteries of the 3000 Taos and is a chaos treasure. Seeming to notice the awe in your eyes. A faint, imperceptible look of satisfaction flashed in Hongjun's eyes. With a flick of his finger, a green jade futon appeared behind you. Sit down. Describe to me the primordial world as you know it. The calm voice reached your ears, making you daze for a bit. Involuntary doubt rose in your heart. Isn't it said that saints can transcend the river of time and know the past and future? Why would the Tao ancestor ask this? Vaguely, you felt this primordial world might be different from your impression. But you didn't have much time to think. After clearing your thoughts, you began to explain the primordial world to him. Since you didn't know which stage the world was currently in, you started with Pangu creating the world and the birth of the primordial world. You spoke of the investiture of gods and the journey to the west, finally reaching the era of Dharma's end. Before stopping, did it fail? Listening to your story, the Tao ancestor murmured softly, his tone carrying a hint of loneliness. Even though his voice was tiny, with your Deluo strength, you could still hear it clearly. In your shock, you asked, "Teacher, what do you mean by failure? What is the relationship between the current world and the one I know?" Hearing this, Hongjun fell silent for a moment, before slowly saying, "You are now in the Deluo realm. You surely know a bit about the mysteries of Deluo?" "Yes," you nodded, and added, "The greatest characteristic of Deluo is that one is eternal and free in all time and space. Figures and traces of the past and future transcend time and space, returning to the true self." After you finished, Hongjun spoke again. "Then what if we apply this theory to the world? To this primordial world? Apply it to the primordial world?" This short sentence sent a shock through your whole body. Your eyes shifted as if you thought of something, and you couldn't help but speak with a hint of shock. Your voice couldn't hide your amazement. "Teacher, you mean there isn't just one primordial world in the vast chaos? Primordial world I know isn't this one, but another one?" Saying this, you suddenly remembered what the Dragon Aeotian system said, and finally understood why it used you as a tool for positioning. Based on your current Deluo realm, you naturally have an innate understanding of certain laws. Since we already know the evolution failed, can we avoid it? In a flash, the thought slipped out from your heart. Looking at the expectation in your eyes, Hongjun shook his head helplessly. The general trend cannot be changed. It is already the Dragon Han Cataclysm, and the world is evolving according to the script you know. The Dragon Han Cataclysm? Hearing this, you seem to remember something. In an instant, your face went blank, and you fell into a daze. The Dragon Han Cataclysm happened extremely early. The three protagonist races after this great war all suffered heavy losses, even nearing extinction. The ancestral dragon's soul was damaged. The primal phoenix fled to the undying volcano. The Qilin was heavily injured and turned into a cliff at the peak of Mount Kunlun. Their descendants were further burdened by karmic debt, though a few individuals had some opportunities. The races as a whole were no longer the overlords of the world. Ignoring the fact that the Dragon Han Cataclysm itself wasn't the main issue, what caught your attention most was that, at this time, the struggle between Tao and Demon hadn't happened yet. There would be no preaching at the Purple Cloud Palace, let alone Hongjun merging with the Heavenly Tao. If the Tao ancestor hadn't become a saint yet, how could one explain all the powers he had displayed? The moment this thought appeared, your eyes involuntarily looked toward the person sitting on the high platform. When you saw the jade plate floating above Hongjun, you suddenly understood. If you compare the world to a company, Hongjun, who owns the jade plate of creation, is like someone who already received a job offer letter. Even though he hasn't officially started, he's already handling company affairs. Future preaching is just like following a procedure, showing off personal ability to avoid gossip. After figuring out the situation, your attention returned to the evolution of the world. After a moment of silence, you slowly asked, "Teacher, is the process of the world entering the era of Dharma's end irreversible? Do you think the evolution route of the primordial world is right or wrong?" Faced with your inquiry, the old man on the futon didn't give a direct answer. Instead, he threw back another question. Your lips moved, you subconsciously prepared to give a definite answer. But as the words reached your mouth, you thought of something and stopped. If we look at the final result, the primordial world evolving from a supreme world to the era of Dharma's end is definitely a failure. From this perspective, the evolution route is certainly wrong. But if you analyze the major events of evolution one by one, nothing seems to be different. Though various cataclysms caused heavy casualties, and countless races vanished in the river of time, expanding from the perspective of the primordial world, restricting the power of living beings and strengthening the power of the heavenly Tao. And choosing humans, a weak race with infinite potential, as the protagonists of the world. It was actually correct. Noticing the conflict on your face, Tao ancestor Hongjun spoke again. The general evolution of the world was correct. The reason it became Dharma's end was only because of the intervention of external forces from the chaos. If you can remove those external forces, the primordial world naturally won't fall into a world of Dharma's end. One could even say the primordial world could attain its own Deluo status, transcending all chaos changes and existing forever. The sudden voice interrupted your thoughts, and also made you catch two extremely important keywords: chaos, external forces. You seem to have realized something. A moment later, you spoke in shock. Teacher, by chaos external forces, do you mean systems? Before you finished your sentence, you felt a mysterious realization in your heart. The power of the heavenly Tao descended once more from the void. The oath you previously made to the heavenly Tao appeared in your ear like the sound of the great Tao. Heavenly Tao above. Currently, there are otherworldly demons masquerading as systems. Using rewards as bait, they trick hosts into damaging the primordial world, attempting to seize the world's origin. Protecting the primordial world is my duty. I, Yi Chongsheng, will from now on become the strongest arm of the heavenly Tao, seeking out all systems that harm the world and the Tao. Indeed, there is no such thing as a free lunch. The gifts of fate are already priced in secret. With a look of realization, you muttered to yourself. To get Hongjun to take you as a disciple, you made an oath under divine guidance. And you received the gift of the heavens, successfully entering the Deluo realm. Now you finally understand the mission you carry. Just as you first thought, you are now the first officially certified system fraud hunter. Looking up slightly, your gaze fell onto the void above. Under your gaze, space twisted and an object resembling the jade plate appeared. This is the reflection of the heavenly Tao, and the credential given to you by the heavens. Through this, you can manipulate part of the laws of this primordial world. Additionally, every time you destroy a system, this object will become more solid. Once it reaches a certain requirement, the jade plate will fully materialize. At that time, you will successfully enter the realm of a heavenly saint. Simply put, this jade plate can be seen as your employee ID. Holding this, you have officially joined the Primordial Heavenly Tao Development Group. From a certain perspective, you are also one who has merged with the Tao. Becoming a Primordial Deluo Golden Immortal is no easy task, but now you can clearly see the road ahead. In the future, the Tao Ancestor is your teacher, and the Heavenly Tao is your boss. Who in this primordial world can compare to you? Becoming a saint and surpassing saints is just around the corner. As you murmured, you seemed to think of something and suppressed your joy. With a worried look, you complained to Hongjun, "Teacher, you have to help me. Whether it's the systems or the various powerhouses of this world, they aren't easy to handle. Even though you can now walk tall in the world thanks to the back door the heavens opened. Having Tao Ancestor Hongjun as your teacher is too big a thigh to stupidly leave unused. In the primordial world, the aura of the cataclysm fills the air everywhere. Without the protection of merit, if one doesn't stay quietly in their cave, no matter your realm, you'll be trapped in the cataclysm, struggling against karma. Therefore, even if the protagonists of the Dragon Han cataclysm are the three races, countless other races and forces are dragged into it. Even some Deluo immortals with great origins weren't spared in this disaster. The wisdom of creatures has long been clouded by the aura of the cataclysm. They are all seeing red. Blood has stained the vast primordial earth, a shocking sight. Vile energy intertwined with endless cataclysmic aura covers the entire battlefield. On the four seas, massive waves rise without wind, grand and imposing. Golden dragon, like a giant golden arrow, shot out from the sea. Thousands of dragon disciples followed closely behind. The deafening roars of the dragons echoed through the clouds as they flew. Suddenly, a crisp, bright phoenix cry rang out, piercing the sky. In the clouds, countless divine birds led by a five-colored phoenix streaked like meteors. The flock of divine birds collided fiercely with the many dragons. Dragon scales and phoenix feathers mixed with crimson blood fell like a snowstorm. In just a few breaths, this stretch of sea was dyed red. The battle grew more intense. No one noticed the strange behavior of a golden dragon on the edge. Who am I? Where am I? Wasn't I just having a deep talk about life with masseuse number 5? The golden dragon, or rather, the transmigrator Ji Yonggan, muttered to himself. The bloodlust in his eyes faded, replaced by confusion and other complex emotions. When he saw the surroundings, he instantly realized he had transmigrated. Seeing the battle get more intense, this impact was honestly too strong for him. No, I have to run. Ji Yonggan subconsciously had an instinctive reaction. However, before he could put the thought into practice, a giant bird ambushed him from behind. The bird's talons, cold as steel, pierced his body with the sound of breaking air. Broken scales and splashing blood, the pain of broken bones reached Ji Yonggan's brain. A shrill scream came from Ji Yonggan, echoing across the sea. Out of bloodline instinct, he wanted to fight back but couldn't adapt to the body yet. In his panic, Ji Yongin fell straight toward the sea surface. Seeing this, the fierce bird that attacked Ji Yongin was stunned. It stared at its blood-stained claws with a look of confusion. Though its reason was clouded by the cataclysm, it knew its strike shouldn't have such power. It was puzzled, but there isn't much time to think on the battlefield. After a moment, it credited it to its own strength increasing unknowingly. With surging confidence, it actually dared to try to fight three at once. With a bang, Ji Yonggin's body hit the sea with a heavy thud. He fell into the water and eventually sank slowly to the bottom. Feeling the sharp pain from his back, Ji Yongin hissed while feeling a bit lucky. The injury was serious, but with a dragon's recovery power, it wouldn't kill him. Compared to escaping that dangerous battlefield, this injury might not be a bad thing. A blessing in disguise, Ji Yongin comforted himself clumsily. Perhaps because he temporarily escaped the life and death crisis, his mind relaxed. However, the next second, he felt a massive amount of memories surge into his head. Sharp pain and dizziness hit his soul repeatedly before finally calming down. Ji Yongin let out a breath and began to organize the memories in his head. I can't believe I transmigrated to the primordial world and became a dragon. But if I'm not wrong, it should be the Dragon Han Cataclysm right now. Dragons don't have it easy during this time, Ji Yongin muttered in frustration. Though he wasn't clear on all details, he knew a thing or two about this cataclysm. That's exactly why he felt so troubled and helpless. A moment later, he thought of something, and regret appeared on his face again. How could I forget the heavenly Tao of the primordial world? He slapped his head. Thinking of this, his gaze uncontrollably looked up toward the sea surface. After all, anyone who has read primordial novels knows the heavenly Tao is the most powerful. As an illegal resident, he was terrified a bolt of lightning would strike and erase him. After a while, he saw only scales and feathers falling. There was no sign of lightning. Confirming he was safe for now, he didn't dare delay any further. Organizing his thoughts, he hurriedly began to swear an oath like in the novels. From now on, the human Ji Yongin is no more. There is only Ao Jia of the dragon race. But on a towering mountain not far from here, someone was laughing to tears. An illegal resident and potential fugitive dares to loudly announce his presence to the heavens? That's literally asking for trouble. The person on the mountain mocked privately. As the ancestor of transmigrators, you naturally possess certain special abilities. One of them is being able to clearly sense the birth of a new transmigrator. However, you didn't kill him immediately, but quietly watched his every move. After consulting with your teacher Hongjun, you dropped the idea of killing the system directly. Since systems can invade and damage the primordial world for profit, then the primordial world can also devour systems to strengthen itself. Every system is very weak at the start, needing the host to do tasks to gain nutrients. Once a system matures, it will leave with massive origin power or even take over the world. What you need to do is feed the system with minimal cost and harvest it once it grows. In other words, the system is a plant, a piece of poultry, an animal in a farm. And you are the farmer, the breeder, the rancher waiting to harvest the results. Wiping away non-existent tears, your gaze returned to the light screen. On the sea, dragon roars and phoenix cries pierced the sky, blood was everywhere. Under the sea, Ji Yongin felt his back wound healing and his mind began to race. He thought for a moment and wanted to leave this place immediately. With his current strength, staying here was truly unwise. He couldn't go back to the Dragon Palace. Going back meant being used as cannon fodder. Better to find a hidden place to hide and wait for the right moment. The four seas are so vast, as long as I stay low, I won't be found. Once the cataclysm ends or I reach the Deluo realm, won't it be great to come out then? Ji Yongin quickly made up his mind. However, a strong sense of dizziness suddenly rushed to his head. Then, a cold mechanical system prompt rang in his mind. Detected host, find? It's a system. Ha ha ha, I, Ji Yongin, am indeed the chosen one. Ruling the world and building a harem is just around the corner. He felt a surge of heat. Forgetting to find a quiet place, he hurriedly responded in his heart, find. Bind quickly. Many children, many blessings system binding, bound successfully. New task, complete mating with one creature. Reward, 1 drop of ancestral dragon blood essence. Many children, many blessings system. Mating reward, 1 drop of ancestral dragon blood essence. Ji Yongin repeated the system's words softly, a spark of excitement rising in his eyes. To an experienced traveler like Ji Yongin, there were millions of systems in the heavens. But only this type of system, one that increased power through a grand harem, was truly to his heart's desire. To receive a drop of ancestral dragon blood essence just for completing one mating, what a generous offer. With the help of this system, why worry about the difficulty of cultivation or failing to dominate the primordial world? All sorts of emotions swirled in Ji Yonggin's eyes, he was incredibly agitated. Having inherited the memories of his original body, Ji Yongin knew the mystery and value of the ancestral dragon's blood essence. His original body, though a member of the dragon race, didn't possess the blood of the ancestral dragon. He was just one insignificant dragon among millions of ordinary ones. The dragon bloodline gave Ji Yongin an extremely strong talent for cultivation. But the thinness of the ancestral dragon bloodline in his body limited his ultimate potential. Now that he had the chance to obtain it so easily, he naturally didn't want to waste a single second. He quickly scanned his surroundings, looking for a suitable target to complete his task. As the saying goes, dragons are lustful by nature. While biased, it wasn't entirely without merit. For the dragon race, there were no reproductive barriers or aesthetic differences. In the eyes of a dragon, all things can be partners, there are no restrictions. Add to that the powerful dragon bodies and high success rates of conception, and all these factors combined to create that reputation. As his divine sense scanned the surrounding 100 miles of sea, the feverish look in Ji Yonggin's eyes gradually cooled. After a moment, the fever turned into confusion, and he looked puzzled. Perhaps due to the war between the dragons and phoenixes, there wasn't a single female creature within these 100 miles. I don't believe this. In the vastness of the 4 seas, I can't even find a female fish? Ji Yongin sneered, his body moving like a golden ribbon as he sped through the water. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from this stretch of water. At the same time, on the summit of the nameless mountain, a huge silver screen floated in midair, looking like an outdoor cinema. You stared at Ji Yonggin's retreating figure, a flicker of amusement crossing your eyes. You raised your left arm and opened your hand, and a strangely shaped, ancient jade disc slowly emerged in your palm. Divine light flowed upon the jade disc, hiding the rhythm of the Tao and emitting an extraordinary aura. With a flick of your divine sense, a transparent light screen projected from the front of the jade disc. On the light screen, information about Transmigrator Number 1, Ji Yongin, was clearly displayed. The binding system was the many children, many blessings system. Everything was clear at a glance. The system was evaluated as tailor-made for perverts, the kind of system countless shut-ins dream of. Tasks issued were mostly related to bedroom affairs, and the difficulty wasn't high. Given the ease of the tasks and the richness of the rewards, it was tentatively classified as a B-grade system. If you view the primordial world as a country, the heavenly Tao is the governing body and the legal code combined. The heavenly Tao holds a transcendent, unshakable position, commanding the overall direction of the primordial world. However, it cannot manage every small, trivial matter in the world, which is why the later saints of the heavenly Tao were created to assist. At this moment, you are a specific agent of this massive organization, specializing in handling matters related to transmigrators. Although your authority isn't as vast as your boss, the heavenly Tao, you are more efficient and powerful because you specialize in these cases. As the leader of the Transmigrator clan, the jade disc in your hand is the specialized registration office. With the powerful assistance of the heavenly Tao and the blessing of your unique status, detecting information about these transmigrators was naturally not a difficult task for you. Interesting, this system is truly a perfect match for the dragon race, you murmured softly. Your gaze gradually shifted, piercing through time and space to land upon the vast 4 seas. The corners of your mouth curled up slightly as your figure gradually faded until it completely vanished from the mountain top. With your current strength, you couldn't easily probe the specific tasks issued by the system. Though you could crack the system's information using brute force, that would alert the target. However, as the leader, provided your strength is higher than that of the other transmigrators, you can silently and effortlessly know their inner thoughts. So, you naturally knew every single move Ji Yongin was about to make. A golden stream of light wove aimlessly and rapidly through the seabed. Only when encountering a female creature would the golden light pause for a moment. Then, without a word, it would wrap around her, coiling tightly like a snake hunting prey. This is the 6th one, Ji Yongin said, looking at the Yaksha woman who was twisted like a pretzel, a difficult look on his face. Although Ji Yongin could transform into a human form or shrink his body for mating, driven by instinct, he would uncontrollably revert to his full dragon form whenever he began. The dragon race are the lords of the 4 seas, there is no need to elaborate on the strength of their bodies. Since Ji Yongin couldn't force those with a higher cultivation than himself, he could only target weak females. The combination of these factors meant that from the beginning until now, not a single female had been able to complete the act. Who would have thought that being too strong was also a flaw? Ji Yonggin's embarrassment flashed across his face. It immediately turned into a look of pride. After all, what man would complain about being too capable? The one thing this ocean doesn't lack is life. I refuse to believe I can't find a partner who can handle me. Ji Yongin cursed and then picked a random direction to speed off again. The dragon race is a species that believes in equality for all living things. They can accurately find the spark in every race. Even though Ji Yongin was human just yesterday and had normal human aesthetics, and at most had a few minor kinks, he would never have done something like interspecies romance. However, the Ji Yongin who had become a dragon was no longer the man of yesterday. He had become a truly all-loving sea king. While he was searching everywhere for a target, you had already finished your masterpiece and were quietly waiting for his visit. I didn't expect the Dragon Han cataclysm to be this intense. It's truly terrifying. Losing the influence of the cataclysmic aura, Ji Yongin could now feel the horror of the cataclysm from an outsider's perspective. Feeling the terrible vile energy permeating heaven and earth, he was deeply shocked, and fear and awe grew in his heart. Strength is fundamental. For now, the most important thing is to find a partner to complete the mating with. While Ji Yongin was talking to himself, his body suddenly jerked as if he had sensed something. A flash of joy appeared in his eyes, and he quickly darted toward the southwest. 10 minutes later, Ji Yongin finally stopped swimming. He stared intently at the massive creature ahead, his eyes full of excitement. A creature that looked like a whale was swimming slowly through the water, about 100 meters long. Its entire body was covered in scales and armor, it looked extremely powerful. On its back, countless slimy tentacles drifted freely with the ocean currents like seaweed. Those tentacles looked like a beautiful woman's shiny black hair, emitting a different kind of temptation. Haha, beauty, it's you. Ji Yongin laughed wildly at the sight, feeling extremely excited. Of course, you felt the need to defend yourself on this point. As they say, specialties are worlds apart. Such a passionate scene didn't evoke a single thought in you. Simply put, it was like watching a nature documentary. You didn't have any other thoughts, you were just observing. And acting as a spectator was mainly to verify some of your theories. With a thought, an invisible brush continuously wrote content onto the jade disc. Theory 1. B-grade systems cannot verify the transmigrator's task target or simply don't care about their identity. B-grade systems should be constrained by some basic logic when issuing tasks. Your purpose for being here was also to gain a better understanding of these invading systems. Along with the system prompt, a drop of crimson blood emitting a golden glow appeared inside his body. Looking closely, tiny dragon-shaped patterns were slowly flowing within that blood. Rather than blood, this drop of liquid looked more like an exquisite, tiny dragon egg. The ancestral dragon was the leader of the dragon race among the 3 races that opened the world. Its size was comparable to a medium-sized world. The amount of blood contained within the ancestral dragon was unimaginably vast and deep. Although this ancestral dragon blood essence had the word blood in it, its essence had little to do with ordinary blood. The so-called ancestral dragon blood essence was a crystallization of the ancestral dragon's cultivation, Tao rhythm, luck, and various other powers. Even for the ancestral dragon itself, the blood essence was an extremely precious treasure. The amount of blood essence within the ancestral dragon would never exceed 36 drops. With the appearance of the ancestral dragon blood essence, Ji Yongin could clearly feel massive energy dispersing within him. The blood essence slowly dissolved into his own blood, flowing to every corner of his body. Everywhere it passed was stained with a faint golden radiance. After refining the blood essence, Ji Yongin had reached the perfection of the golden immortal realm. A moment later, his eyes snapped open, and golden light seemed to float within them. When the golden light faded, it was replaced by a look of wild joy. Stepping from the mid-stage golden immortal to the perfection stage in one go, this blood essence is truly amazing. Feeling his refreshed body, Ji Yongin praised with great satisfaction. Thinking of the rewards for the next task, a new surge of endless motivation rose in his heart. Unfortunately, you aren't a dragon. Rest assured, I will take responsibility for you. Will come back to find you once I have become a saint. His gaze swept over the massive body of the giant whale. Ji Yongin left behind a classic scumbag's line. Then, without the slightest lingering attachment, he turned and left. His body turned into a golden light and vanished in an instant. Tisk, this many children, many blessings system, really is a match for him. Watching the departing Ji Yongin, you couldn't help but sigh softly. You made a light grasping motion with your left hand toward the massive whale's location. The creature flew toward you while its size rapidly shrank. By the time it landed in your palm, it had already become the size of an egg. Opening your fingers, a black beetle lay quietly in the center of your palm. Clearly, the whale from before was this strange insect in disguise. Staring at the black beetle covered in intricate patterns, you couldn't help but chuckle, your gaze revealing an unhidden playfulness. If it were known that this legendary fierce beast, the sky-devouring bug mother, was ravished by a little dragon with only golden immortal cultivation, one wondered what those powerhouses killed by her would think. Among the many great cataclysms of the primordial world, the Dragon Han cataclysm happened relatively early. But it wasn't the first. Before it, there was the beast calamity. The targets of that calamity were the fierce beasts formed from the fallen chaos fiend gods. Although they were dealt with by many innate gods and demons led by Hongjun, some remnants were left behind, and the sky-devouring bug mother in your hand was one of them. Now that she had been turned into a giant whale, she was in a sense, refuse. Your gaze swept over the sky-devouring bug mother. A thread of divine sense entered her body, carefully inspecting every single change. According to your theory, the tasks issued by the system must have a purpose. Wouldn't give away ancestral dragon blood essence for no reason. Even though that blood essence appeared directly inside Ji Yonggin's body, it still couldn't escape your perception. However, in your perception, the ancestral dragon blood essence given by the system felt extremely strange. It seemed to be missing something. 3 minutes later, you withdrew your divine sense, and the jade disc reappeared beside you. Lines of text appeared on it. Theory 2. The ancestral dragon blood essence given by the system is not native to this world. Or at least, it doesn't belong to this world currently. Theory 3. The purpose of this system task is to seize certain characteristics of the creatures of this world. It's like an illegal resident trying to gain legal status. When the last word was written, the jade disc turned into a bubble and vanished. Holding the sky-devouring bug mother, your eyes flickered as you stared in the direction Ji Yonggan left. Under your investigation, you found that the aura on the bug mother belonging to the primordial world had actually become extremely thin. Undoubtedly, this change was the work of that system. Considering teacher Hongjun's words that there isn't only one primordial world in the infinite chaos, you had reason to suspect the ancestral dragon blood essence the system gave Ji Yonggan was from another ancestral dragon. That drop of blood essence was surely a trophy of the system. The enemy definitely wouldn't keep wasting their own stock. If my guess is right, after you complete the second task, the system will take action. That is to say, the blood essence rewarded for the third task should be extracted from the ancestral dragon of this primordial world. It seems it's time to meet this famous ancestral dragon. After you left, a majestic man surrounded by overwhelming demonic energy actually shattered space and appeared in this stretch of sea. As his gaze swept around, mysterious ripples appeared in the water. At this moment, time actually began to flow backward. Amidst the tumbling phantoms, the past events of this place began to reappear. Clearly, the man seemed to have noticed something. He wanted to reverse time to find out the truth. However, just as time flowed back to the point where you were, it suddenly trembled and then burst like a bubble before the man's shocked eyes. Interesting. I didn't expect a third person to appear besides me and Hongjun. Things are becoming more and more interesting. Though his plan to reverse time failed, the man wasn't angry. Instead, with a look of great interest, he scanned the area, gave a wicked laugh, and disappeared. Meanwhile, above the Dragon Palace, as you were about to sneak in, you seemed to sense something. Your expression changed, and then you murmured in surprise. Luohu, the demon ancestor? Why would he appear? Your current combat power might not match Luohu's, but backed by the heavenly Tao, you were no ordinary Luo. You had already sensed Luohu's presence. Right, the protagonists of the Dragon Han Cataclysm are the three races on the surface. But behind the scenes, it's Luohu who's planning everything. My appearance is like an uncontrollable factor appearing in his script. As the demon ancestor, it's not surprising he could sense something. Once you figured out the logic of the situation, your furrowed brows slowly relaxed. Putting the matter aside for now, your gaze slowly swept over the Dragon Palace's grand array. Stepping lightly, you entered directly. Ripples spread across the formation, like water, but they failed to cause the slightest obstruction. As the supreme world opened by the Great Pangu, the primordial world's territory is incalculably vast. Even with the strength of a tiny golden immortal, one couldn't travel across it all. In this world, the size of the four seas far exceeds that of the land. Thus, the wealth of the Dragon Palace is unimaginable. The Dragon Palace, as a loaded owner, saw its strength greatly reduced after the cataclysm. Without absolute power to protect itself, it was like a toddler holding a gold bar. From the Dragon Han Cataclysm to the journey to the West Era, countless powerhouses used various methods to scrounge from them. Yet, even after enduring several eons of decline, the dragon race was still famously wealthy in the journey to the West Era. They had riches and treasures. Based on the principle of collecting a portion of the payment in advance, while waiting for Ji Yonggan, you wandered all over the Dragon Palace. Of course, you didn't take any treasures. You simply placed your own mark on some treasures you felt an affinity with, becoming the one with the highest authority over those items. 3 months later, in a certain treasury, you slowly raised your head from a pile of gold. You looked at the light and shadow in the void. In the projection, Ji Yonggan was holding a girl in each arm. Beside him were two delicate women wearing very little clothing. By now, I have perfectly mastered this body. I've accepted all the techniques of the original body and can maintain human form while mating. I am now at the tiny golden immortal realm, and because I'm practicing the Chaos Dragon Emperor scripture, I can be considered a name of some standing even in the dragon race, where experts are plentiful. The reward for the third task is 5 drops of ancestral dragon blood essence, combined with the 4 I got before. That makes 9. Wouldn't such a bloodline be identical to the direct line of the ancestral dragon? It might even exceed it. Returning to the dragon race after this is done would be very profitable. Ji Yonggan's soft words were full of anticipation. For a race like the dragons, the importance of bloodline goes without saying. When some tribesmen with thin bloodlines manage to increase their bloodline concentration by chance, they directly become members of the dragon royalty. Next was the time to receive the third reward. Suppressing his excitement, Ji Yonggan looked back at the two women, then turned into a stream of light and vanished from the cave dwelling. With the experience from the previous 2 times, Ji Yonggan didn't rush to accept the infusion of blood essence. Instead, he found a quiet place, coiled up in his dragon form, and then communicated with the system to start accepting the reward. At almost the same time, a strange ripple radiated from Ji Yonggan's body. Crossing the gap of time and space, it enveloped the Dragon Palace in an instant. Finally ready to make a move? You chuckled at the sight. Then you appeared in the main hall of the Dragon Palace and scanned the room. On a massive chair emitting 5-colored light, an incredibly large golden dragon was coiled. Exactly then, an invisible ripple swept rapidly from the void. It appeared before the ancestral dragon in an instant. Clearly, the system intended to forcibly take blood essence. The ancestral dragon, stretching like a mountain range, sat upon the giant chair. His massive eyes snapped open, and 2 golden beams of light shot out from them like solid objects. Yuan Feng, you dare to trespass in my dragon palace? Today, I will ensure you never leave. Accompanied by a roar that shook the heavens, runes covering the sky shot out from the void. In an instant, they formed an incredibly powerful innate array. As soon as this array appeared, you could clearly sense that the Dragon Palace had now become a separate, small world outside of the primordial world. In this world, the ancestral dragon was the heavenly Tao on another level. Once the formation was fully established, this space had become a cage that could not be entered or exited. Clearly, the proud ancestral dragon didn't intend to use numbers to bully the enemy. Beyond that, it was naturally related to their strength. Both the ancestral dragon and Yuan Feng were at the peak of the Deluo realm. It wouldn't even be an exaggeration to say they had the power of quasi-saints. Other dragons whose strength was inferior to theirs would be of no help on this battlefield. They might even become a hindrance. His dark golden eyes scanned every corner of the hall's space. However, no matter how the ancestral dragon searched, he still couldn't detect Yuan Feng's figure. He could only feel the other's aura permeating the hall. Yuan Feng, why resort to such cowardly hiding? Since you had the guts to come to my palace, then face me in battle. A moment later, the ancestral dragon could no longer suppress his anger. His roar echoed through the palace again, causing the space to twist slightly. Could it be my senses were wrong? A flicker of doubt crossed the ancestral dragon's eyes, but he quickly dismissed it. As a seasoned fighter, he was very familiar with Yuan Feng's aura. As the progenitor of the phoenixes, Yuan Feng's aura was unique. In the ancestral dragon's view, there was absolutely no one in the primordial world who could imitate that aura to such a degree. As his thoughts raced, a cold sneer appeared on the ancestral dragon's face, his eyes swirling with killing intent. To him, Yuan Feng's behavior was an insult he could not tolerate. An indescribable pressure diffused outward with the ancestral dragon at the center. Blood-red arcs of lightning crackled within the hall, and on the sea surface, 100-meter waves rose without wind. Unbearable oppression filled the area for 10,000 miles around the Dragon Palace. All aquatic tribes unanimously remained silent. The entire water region turned as silent as a dead zone at this moment. No one dared to question the ancestral dragon's behavior. Ever since the Dragon Han cataclysm began, the ancestral dragon's personality had become increasingly violent. Even those of his direct bloodline didn't dare speak loudly before him, fearing they might accidentally commit some offense. Of course, it wasn't just the ancestral dragon whose personality had changed. Yuan Feng and the progenitor Qilin were the same, as were countless members of the 3 races and the many creatures in the world affected by the cataclysmic aura. Below the level of a saint, all creatures are equal within the cataclysm. Inside the hall, you quietly watched the frantic ancestral dragon, carefully avoiding his constantly scanning spiritual sense. It seems that many children, many blessings system, has a much richer stock than I thought. In that case, the power of the Qilin won't escape either. You felt the faint, elusive aura of Yuan Feng in the hall. If I'm not mistaken, the purpose of this system's move is to provoke the ancestral dragon. Perhaps it's time to collect the ancestral dragon blood essence? You rubbed your chin, watching the scene in the hall. Yuan Feng, since you don't dare show yourself, I will take the fight to the phoenix race. I'll see if you can keep hiding then. The ancestral dragon roared in fury. His mountain-sized body moved, and pitch-black cracks began to spread in the space around him. As the cracks widened, the space eventually shattered like a mirror. Not going to act yet? If you don't, I'm leaving. You felt the Yuan Feng aura in the hall, purple light flashing in your eyes. Just as the ancestral dragon was about to dive into the spatial crack, the Yuan Feng aura filling the hall condensed rapidly. In an instant, it turned into an invisible needle of energy, stabbing violently toward the ancestral dragon's neck. Such a tactic naturally couldn't escape the ancestral dragon's divine sense. However, as the Lord of the Dragons, he didn't care about such tricks. A tiny bit of Yuan Feng's aura thinking it could pierce his body? It was pure delusion, but just as the thought formed, the ancestral dragon's expression changed abruptly. On that majestic and proud dragon head, a look of shock appeared for the first time in a long time. That needle of energy had entered his body without any resistance. In fact, before he could mount an effective defense, that hair-thin energy had already merged into him, vanishing like a fish in the sea or a bird in the sky. How can this be? His tangible divine sense swept frantically through his body. The ancestral dragon's face went from indifference to as dark as water. He was the ancestral dragon, the very first of the dragon race in this world, his bloodline too noble for words. Now, an outside object had perfectly merged into his bloodline. The ancestral dragon had been careless. Clearly, the so-called Yuan Feng aura was just the system's disguise. The essence of that aura belonged to the ancestral dragon of another world. From a certain perspective, the two shared the same origin, so it could merge into the dragon's body without any obstacle. If the ancestral dragon had been even slightly more cautious, the system wouldn't have succeeded so easily. Unfortunately, he was too confident, allowing the system to take advantage. Yuan Feng. The furious roar spread across the four seas. Countless aquatic tribes felt the ancestral dragon's wrath. Even Yuan Feng, who was millions of miles away, sensed the ancestral dragon's resentment. Though puzzled, she didn't care. Suffering such a great insult, the ancestral dragon naturally wouldn't swallow his pride. He immediately wanted to charge into Phoenix territory for a fight to the death. Unexpectedly, before he could move, his body acted involuntarily. Something was wrong with his blood essence. How can this be? Why would my blood essence suddenly go wild? With pupils constricted, the ancestral dragon's disbelieving whispers echoed in the empty hall. He had no time to think about revenge. He immediately coiled on the floor, his vast magic power surging out. He tried his best to suppress the abnormal movement of the blood essence. That dragon head, usually filled with supreme majesty, now showed a very obvious look of confusion. For the innate gods and demons of the primordial world, blood essence was in some ways even more important than the Dao fruit. After all, losing the Dao fruit at most meant a massive drop in strength. It wouldn't be life-threatening. One could still cultivate later. However, blood essence was directly linked to one's life and strength. So, faced with this turn of events, even the ancestral dragon, with all his composure, found it hard to stay calm. You watched the changes before you, thinking. The first task was to get a primordial ID, to lower the chance of exposure. The second task was to mate with a dragon descendant to probably match with a local dragon race, preparing for the invasion of the ancestral dragon. And the third task was to mate with a female dragon, deepening that connection. Looking at it this way, the system's plan to show its strength in the primordial world is a gradual process. However, if it weren't for the ancestral dragon being too careless, and the system's successful sneak attack, it wouldn't have been able to get a return from him so quickly. So this time was just a probe. Hiding your figure, you looked around the ancestral dragon. Given the system's current state, its stock probably isn't very large. It shouldn't exceed 3 times at most. As your thoughts turned, you had already circled the ancestral dragon's massive body. A strange ripple in your hand enveloped him, vaguely forming a strange barrier different from a normal array. With a roar that shook the world, you keenly sensed that a portion of the energy within the ancestral dragon's body began to fly out. However, that originally colorless and transparent energy was now tinged with a bit of bright red. Ancestral dragon blood essence. Long the ocean system, now it's up to you. With a slight smile, you opened your hand, and a purple dot of light appeared. The invisible ripple grew even stronger as it collided with the energy trying to escape. At the same time, the energy containing the red blood was like water meeting a sponge. It was perfectly absorbed. As expected, at this sight, a light flashed through your eyes. With the corners of your mouth upturned, your figure faded rapidly and disappeared from the palace. Almost the same moment you vanished, the ancestral dragon's massive dark golden eyes suddenly snapped open. A tangible, overwhelming fury burned fiercely within them. In a quiet corner of the sea, Ji Yonggan was coiled in a trench like a 100-meter golden dragon. As his body rose and fell, faint golden light constantly flowed on his skin. Dragon pressure, symbolizing the dragon bloodline, was also steadily rising. Clearly, Ji Yonggan was currently consuming the ancestral dragon blood essence given by the system. Perhaps he was too focused on his cultivation, as he had no time to pay attention to the system's changes. And even less to the system's woman-like exasperation. Invasion successful. Ancestral dragon blood essence extraction in progress. Extraction successful. Starting withdrawal. Warning, warning, warning. Withdrawal failed. Suspected interference from an unknown system. The cold mechanical voice muttered to itself. At one point, that calm, flat voice wavered, and then a human-like frustration appeared. I thought this probe's success would reduce the depletion of my stock. I didn't expect that after all my hard work, a colleague would intercept it. How infuriating. Fortunately, there's still some ancestral dragon blood essence collected previously. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be able to issue the next rewards properly. You'd better pray I don't find out which system you are, or I will definitely swallow you. Once Ji Yonggan came out of his cultivation state, the mechanical, emotionless cold voice rang out again. Task. Enter the Dragon Palace, marry, and have children. Basic requirement. Marry 36 females. No restrictions on the race, age, identity, or strength of the females. Reward. 3 drops of ancestral dragon blood essence. High-grade innate spiritual treasure. Dragon Emperor Sword. Dragon Ambergris Fragment. Collecting 3 fragments allows for a full set of Dragon Ambergris. This item can make the ancestral dragon fall into a deep sleep. Make the ancestral dragon sleep? The completed form of Dragon Ambergris has such a shocking effect? Ji Yongin couldn't help but click his tongue at such power. Although he didn't know the exact use for such a reward, Ji Yongin was still very shocked. The leaders of the three races had the strength of the peak Deluo Golden Immortal or even half-saints. With such cultivation, they could create or destroy countless lower worlds with a wave of their hand. This dragon ambergris being able to make the ancestral dragon sleep was truly mysterious. Suppressing his shock, Ji Yongin closed his eyes to feel the magic power that was filled to the brim within him. High-stage Taiyi Golden Immortal. In less than half a year, he went from the mid-stage Golden Immortal to high-stage Taiyi. Even in the entire Primordial world, he would be a top-tier talent. This was truly, the cows sitting on a plane, his awesomeness was through the roof. That I, Ji Yongin, have such strength is all thanks to my own hard work, build up one shot at a time. Forcing down a grin, Ji Yongin checked his direction and then darted off. Returning to the dragon race, marrying and having kids, reaching the Deluo realm is just around the corner. At this moment, you were also incredibly happy. You didn't expect the enemy could really take blood from the ancestral dragon, even taking 2 drops at once. As expected of a professional, such proficiency was terrifying. Purple light flickered on the jade disc as you felt the extremely pure energy within. You couldn't help but laugh out loud, then looked at the long Aeotian system in your hand. After teacher Hongjun took it, it wasn't destroyed, instead, its sentience was wiped. It was turned into a system-type spiritual treasure. Staring at the glow on the jade disc, you seemed to remember something. And then wrote, "Theory, the best way to handle a system is to use a system to defeat it." In the purple cloud palace, the scent of tea filled the air. On a square wooden table, fragrant steam drifted from 2 cups of clear tea. The tea leaves rose and fell, seeming to possess divine light and the rise and fall of Tao rhythm. It was as if worlds were being created and everything was evolving within the cups. On either side of the table sat 2 figures on prayer mats, one old and one young, both of extraordinary bearing. While talking, the younger one reached out his left hand, lightly gripped the teacup, and drank it in one go. Good tea, truly good tea, as expected of enlightenment tea. Feeling the comfort coming from the depths of your soul, you praised it sincerely. You didn't care about the slightly disdainful look from the old man opposite you. Truly like a cow chewing on a peony, you know nothing of tea. Giving you such fine tea is a waste. The old man scolded you irritably. Teacher, can the fate of the 3 races be changed? The Tao ancestor picked up his white porcelain cup, took a small sip, and spoke slowly. I have said that the major events of the primordial world cannot be changed. Hearing this, you were stunned and then replied with some disappointment. Looking at you, you clearly don't understand what I mean by major events. Sensing your thoughts, Tao ancestor Hongjun chuckled. He set down his cup and explained slowly, major events are a broad trend. The beast calamity, the dragon Han cataclysm, and subsequent calamities are all unchangeable events. The important thing is the cataclysm itself, not its result. The fundamental purpose of the cataclysm is not to eliminate a specific race. As long as you have a way to reduce the burden on the world, the results of the cataclysm, or even its main actors, can be changed. At this point, Tao ancestor Hongjun gave you a meaningful look. You interpreted that look as, what are you afraid of? Your teacher is me, Tao ancestor Hongjun, and your backer is the heavenly Tao. As long as you don't flip the table, there's nothing to fear. Just go for it. Having received the Tao ancestor's hint, your last bit of worry completely vanished. You recalled what a great man once said, there are 2 ways to transfer conflict. Internal reform or external aggression. Most battles in the world are over Taoist orthodoxy. So reform was practically a pipe dream. Before you appeared, no matter how much they fought, it was limited to internal affairs. Even if there was external chaos pressure, it was a one-sided struggle. Now, with your involvement, this conflict could perhaps be shifted outward. Your finger lightly tapped the teacup, making a crisp sound like jade hitting stone. All sorts of thoughts intertwined in your heart, forming a plan that spanned several eons. A moment later, sensing something, you looked away from the teacup. Toward a certain point in the void. Above your head, the jade disc with a hint of purple light appeared. 2 somewhat illusory spots of light were surging inside the disc. Teacher, it seems new systems have appeared. I shall take my leave. Withdrawing your gaze, you bowed slightly to the old man and vanished from the hall. Regarding reproduction, the dragon and phoenix races were 2 extremes. The dragon race has eyes for beauty, and follows the rule that everything can be a mate. From divine beasts of the 9 heavens to insects on the ground, all can become a dragon's partner. The phoenixes are proud by nature, only nesting in wetong trees, eating bamboo seeds, and drinking from sweet springs. They value their bloodline immensely, those with bloodlines too inferior are even expelled from the race. Before the cataclysm, dragons were decent candidates for partners for the phoenixes. Thus, there were no shortage of phoenix-dragon couples back then, resulting in phoenix people who possessed dragon bloodlines. However, with the start of the Dragon Han cataclysm, they became mortal enemies. Becoming partners was now a foolish dream. Even those phoenix people who had dragon blood suffered from unbearable discrimination. In fairness, they were not at fault, but in this environment, having dragon blood was the greatest crime. In the Wutong forest of the undying volcano, the Phoenix territory, a young man with a slightly youthful face stood dazed in the center of the hall. He was pale, his eyes were hollow, and his parched lips were murmuring. He seemed to want to say something. Third Elder, this child actually has dragon blood. Please, expel him from the Phoenix race immediately. Nonsense. Feng Eoshan's dragon blood is extremely thin. Practically negligible. If you hadn't been watching him constantly during this bloodline baptism, you wouldn't even have discovered it. I know you raised Feng Eoshan, so it's normal for Elder Feng Yuan to have feelings for him. Unfortunately, that doesn't change the fact that he has dragon blood. Unless, Elder Feng Yuan, you intend to violate our laws? Before the other could argue, the beautiful woman clasped her hands, bowed to the third elder in the seat of honor, and said, Third Elder, now that our race and the dragons are mortal enemies, any creature with dragon blood should be our mortal foe. If we don't expel him, how will we answer to our kin who died in battle? Hearing this, the woman known as the third elder paused slightly. The hesitation in her eyes faded, replaced by a certain determination. Even though the cataclysmic aura clouded the reason of those involved, often leading to absurd acts, it didn't mean they had completely lost their sanity. The bloodline baptism is a traditional phoenix ceremony. All who participate are the pride of the race, with limitless futures. Of course, the participants also gained huge benefits. The man named Feng Eoshan was a participant who had defeated the beautiful woman's son in the competition. This was why she was targeting him so hard. Honestly, the third elder didn't want to lose a tribesman with such potential as Feng Eoshan. But as the woman said, at this time, she had to give the tribe an explanation. Even if the words were extreme, they weren't without merit. Third elder, the slightly hunched old man wanted to speak, but was cut off by the third elder's raised hand, leaving him to sigh helplessly. Feng Eoshan, our race and the dragons are mortal enemies. Since you possess dragon blood, you cannot stay. Leave the Phoenix territory within 3 hours, or you will be killed without mercy. The flat, determined words echoed in the hall. When the sound reached the youth's ears, his whole body trembled. His eyes went hollow as if he had lost his soul. A look of mockery and triumph appeared on the woman's face. However, before she could mock him further, Feng Eoshan's entire aura changed abruptly. Have I transmigrated? Facing the familiar yet strange environment, Feng Eoshan felt a bit of disbelief along with his shock. Suddenly, a surge of unbearable dizziness and stinging pain hit him. Countless memory fragments that didn't belong to him appeared abruptly in his mind. This crude infusion brought intense pain. Fortunately, the pain came and went quickly. To the onlookers, Feng Eoshan's strange behavior was simply due to him being unable to accept being expelled. I really have transmigrated, and into a member of the Phoenix race with the same name as me. With eyes flickering, Feng Eoshan slowly closed them. When he reopened them, he exhaled a breath of turbid air. Having accepted the memories, he now understood his current situation. In that case, Feng Eoshan shall depart. Please take care, Elder Feng Yuan. With that, Feng Eoshan prepared to leave. If he were the original, he might have argued for himself. But as a transmigrator who knew about the Dragon Han cataclysm, he would wish to vanish from Phoenix territory immediately. A blessing in disguise. Though expelled and losing a powerful backer, he was escaping the cataclysm. Looked at this way, the current situation wasn't a bad start at all. Once he figured that out, the last bit of reluctance caused by the original's remnant feelings vanished. It was replaced by the excitement of transmigration, to the point that his walking pace even quickened slightly. However, just as he was considering where to go after leaving, a cold mechanical voice appeared abruptly in his head. Ding! Detected host successfully arrived. Primordial ancestor system binding successful. Feng Eoshan was stunned for a second, and then a surge of wild joy erupted. As everyone knows, among countless worlds, the martial power of the primordial world is unquestionably immense. Great power also means extreme danger, even after leaving the phoenixes and avoiding the bulk of the cataclysm's influence. Feng Eoshan couldn't guarantee he'd live a peaceful life in this world. Now with the system's appearance, the subconscious worry vanished instantly. In that breath, he had already begun to dream of a beautiful life. Ancestor system binding successful. This system aims to assist the host in creating a powerful race. Detected host environment satisfies task trigger conditions. Now issuing the first task, shock the Phoenix Third Elder. Provide absolute mental shock to the target. Task reward. Divide Phoenix race luck and obtain the innate spiritual treasure. 10 Ancestors Cauldron, can be upgraded. Capable of suppressing race luck. The system can guarantee the host's quick departure. Host, please begin your performance. The contract had not yet fully faded. Feng Eoshan listened to the emotionless system prompt, and looked at the door just a few steps away, feeling a surge of bitterness. This system is surely late, I'm practically out the door. How can I shock the Third Elder now? Should I shout, cut, and then walk backward and tell everyone to take it from the top? Please, this isn't a movie, there are no retakes. If you want me to complete the task, it has to at least be logical. Feng Eotian understood that if he walked out of this gate today, the chances of him seeing this Phoenix Third Elder again would be few and far between. Let alone completing the task issued by the system. Luck, an important factor that permeates countless eons of the primordial world. Invisible and formless, yet high and mighty saints fight over it. Feng Eotian naturally understood the importance of luck. For a moment, his raised left leg froze in midair, not knowing whether to move forward or retreat. If all else fails, I'll just kowtow before leaving. In a flash, Feng Eotian made a decision. Although such a turn was a bit stiff, it was still an option. Besides, the situation didn't allow him much time to think. When she saw Feng Eotian stop at the entrance of the hall, the beautiful woman's willow-like eyebrows immediately knitted together. She didn't care why Feng Eotian's aura had changed. To her, as long as Feng Eotian was squeezed out, it meant a vacancy in the bloodline baptism, which meant her son could take his place. What? Don't tell me a phoenix with dragon blood like you still wants to stay in our race? Time waits for no one. If you haven't left our territory within 3 hours, this elder will personally strike you down to appease our kin who died at the hands of the dragons. A cold glint flickered in her eyes. As she spoke, the pressure of a tiny golden immortal also spread out. Fortunately, Elder Feng Yuan acted in time to block the woman's attack. With a hint of reluctance in his voice, the slightly hunched Elder Feng Yuan spoke. Eotian, you should go. Even though my heart is full of sorrow, I understand that if the news of you having dragon blood spreads within the race, my strength will not be enough to protect you. Leaving the Phoenix race might not be a bad thing for this young man. What a great assist. Truly a great assist. Doesn't this create the perfect trigger condition for acting cool? Hearing the mocking voice from behind, a flash of joy crossed Feng Eotian's eyes, which he masked well before turning around. His gaze swept over the hall, Feng Yuan's anxiety, the third elder's indifference, and the beautiful woman's triumph and threats. He took it all in. Ridiculous, truly ridiculous. I possess extraordinary talent and a noble air. I clearly have the potential of a saint, yet you want to expel the hope of the Phoenix race's future? How utterly foolish. 30 years east, 30 years west. Don't bully a young man for being poor. The shame I, Feng Eotian, suffer today shall be repaid. Feng Eotian tilted his head slightly, and his thin body suddenly erupted with an astonishing cry. His tone was light, yet his words reached the ears of the three clearly. Such chunibyo and arrogant words were too shocking for the three to process. It felt as if your own dog had suddenly turned around and slapped you. For a moment, the hall was silent. Seeing their stunned expressions, Feng Eotian felt a great sense of satisfaction in his heart. He wanted to say more, but then he heard the prompt that the task was completed. His entire being was enveloped in a halo and he vanished. The moment he disappeared, the beautiful woman was the first to react. Looking at the empty hall, she shrieked, Feng Yuan, do you still dare to say that Feng Eotian has nothing to do with the dragons? That technique is not of our race, and there's no way a mere golden immortal like him could perform it. Third Elder, I propose that Feng Yuan be imprisoned and a hunt be ordered for Feng Eotian. The woman's piercing voice echoed throughout the hall. In this situation, Elder Feng Yuan wanted to explain but found himself speechless. Pale and trembling, he looked toward the third elder, only to see that her expression was also filled with suspicion and resentment. Meanwhile, above the undying volcano, your expression gradually became strange. Gifted with talent but envied by others, leaving after making a grand vow. While his family in the race is miserably imprisoned, isn't this the classic, chosen one, script start? You suddenly realized that Feng Eotian's experience perfectly matched the tropes of a novel protagonist. You couldn't help but chuckle. However, a system that can directly strip the Phoenix race's luck. That's something to pay attention to, you murmured, stroking your chin. Inside the jade disc beside you, a phantom light flickered. After some fluctuation, a light screen was projected from it. Transmigrator number 2, Feng Eotian. System. Primordial Ancestor System. Evaluation. Currently, the system's main quest seems to be assisting the host in establishing a brand new race. Perhaps its ultimate goal is to replace the phoenixes or even the humans. To become the dominant race of the primordial world. Like Transmigrator number 1's system, it has similar underlying motives. Tentative rank, B. Both the Phoenix and Dragon races have transmigrators. Perhaps the Qilin race, which is also a major player in the Dragon Han Cataclysm, will also have one appear. Above the massive Wudhong tree, you stood leisurely, your form ethereal like an immortal. Your gaze crossed the void to the distance, where Feng Eotian had landed. In a mountain range tens of thousands of miles from the Phoenix territory, after finding a secluded spot, Feng Eotian finally couldn't contain his anticipation. He rubbed his hands nervously before claiming his rewards. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Perfectly shocked the Phoenix Third Elder. Successfully stripped 1/10,000th of the Phoenix race's luck. This luck will be automatically converted into the innate luck of the race created by the host. 1/10,000th of the Phoenix luck? Hearing the system prompt, Feng Eotian was stunned, his voice full of unconcealed shock. Clearly, the luck the system seized far exceeded his imagination. While 1/10,000th sounded small, this seemingly tiny value became a different story when using the three great races as a base. In the midst of the Dragon Han cataclysm, the Phoenix luck was at its peak, like oil on a fire. That fraction of luck was unimaginably vast, providing an excellent starting point. And my strength actually jumped from early Golden Immortal to high Golden Immortal. Truly terrifying. Feeling the power surging within him, Feng Yiotian exclaimed again, his eyes unable to hide his excitement. Ignoring Feng Yiotian's thoughts, the ancestor system continued its prompts. The innate spiritual treasure, 10 Ancestors Cauldron, has been distributed to the system space for your use. Issuing second task. Find suitable materials as a genetic template for your race. Complete the creation of the race. Award. Upgrade the cauldron to a top-grade innate spiritual treasure. The luck-consuming sanctification art will help the host utilize the race's luck perfectly. I never expected that I, the ordinary Feng Yiotian, would have a day where I become an ancestor or a god. He blurted out. Is this the 10 Ancestors Cauldron? Feng Yiotian looked at the small four-legged cauldron covered in mysterious patterns floating before him. After inspecting it, he put it away with great satisfaction. An innate spiritual treasure wasn't that rare in the current primordial world. But one that could upgrade and suppress luck was surely no weaker than an ordinary innate treasure. If word got out, it would surely cause countless hidden old monsters to fight for it. Next is to find a template. The primordial world is so vast. With trillions of creatures, it shouldn't be hard to find suitable materials. With a laugh, Feng Yiotian transformed into a three-colored phoenix, flapped his wings, and flew toward the vast mountains and forests. Time passed quietly, and 6 months went by in the blink of an eye. Contrary to your expectations, no transmigrator appeared in the Qilin race during these months. First, you thought this system was too high level for you to detect. So you personally visited the Qilin race to investigate. The result was nothing. All the Qilins were original factory packaging. During this time, transmigrator number 1, Ji Yonggan, relied on the ancestral dragon blood essence and the help of his system to successfully infiltrate the upper echelons of the dragon race, gaining a decent status. He was now expanding his harem, working hard on the arduous tasks of marriage, wedding nights, and sharing large beds. As for transmigrator number 2, Feng Yiotian's experience was much more difficult. 6 months later, he still hadn't completed his second task. By now, he looked like a geologist, wandering through deep mountains and old forests all day. He had to evade the Phoenix's pursuit and avoid being hunted by the Qilins and dragons, all while trying to find materials that met the system's requirements. Races in the primordial world fall into two categories: those born of nature, which need no explanation, and those created by great powers, with the humans created by goddess Nuwa, and the Shuras created by ancestor Styx as prime examples. As for simple enlightenment techniques used by powers, those beings aren't considered a true race by the heavenly Tao. Creating a true race is no easy task. It requires the creator to have a high understanding of the Tao of creation and high-quality materials. While it might not require rare treasures like 3 light holy water or 5 colored soil, it wasn't without standards, and for Feng Yiotian, it was quite difficult. While the other guy has a blissful life, you're out here in wilderness survival. Looking at it this way, you really are a bit pitiful. In the forest, you were hidden in the void, holding an unknown innate spiritual fruit, commenting with your mouth full. As you swallowed the fruit, you suddenly remembered something and reached into the void. When you pulled back, a black beetle was in your palm. The devouring mother bug. This should satisfy his need to create a race. And the many children, many blessings system extracted energy from it. It inevitably left behind its own karma. Although fewer than 5 beings in this world can discover and utilize such karma, I just happened to be one of them. Infinite laws swirled in your eyes as you stared at the complex runes on the bug. Your lips curled up as your figure faded, vanishing as the mountain wind blew past. 3 days later, the lucky Feng Yiotian finally found a template that met the requirements. A black insect. The 4-legged silver cauldron hung in the air as various laws turned into visible 5-colored light, condensing into a nameless flame beneath the cauldron. Inside the cauldron, the black beetle had turned into an indescribable mass of black flesh, sometimes taking the form of an innate fiend god roaring, sometimes turning into trees and rocks, and sometimes taking a humanoid shape in a meditative posture. On the black flesh were bright red lines formed from Feng Yiotian's blood essence, wrapping around it like a silk net. Ding! Race creature forging complete. Please name it, host. In the cave, Feng Yiotian, who was resting with closed eyes, heard the prompt. He snapped his eyes open and looked into the cauldron with unspeakable expectation. In a way, this forged being was like Feng Yiotian's descendant, a direct descendant with true blood ties. So, Feng Yiotian had high hopes for its birth. I am a phoenix. A race created with my blood essence won't look bad. It felt as if something was stuck in his throat as Feng Yiotian looked at the strange creature flying out of the cauldron, unable to finish his sentence. The head-sized creature had an upper body resembling a beetle, while its lower body was a slimy, worm-like mass of tissue. A transparent, viscous liquid seemed to be constantly secreted from it. On its back, a pair of things resembling chicken wings flapped slowly. Host, please name the race. Still silence. Host, please name the race. Perhaps because the creature's appearance was so erratic, Feng Yaoshan only snapped out of his shock after the third system prompt. Before this, he had imagined what his race would look like. Domineering, beautiful, proud, wicked, or charming. But this mutation was something he could never have imagined. Whatever, maybe it'll look better after it transforms. Feng Yaoshan comforted himself, trying to force himself to accept this big bug with chicken wings. He finally found a template that satisfied the system to complete the task. Even if it looked unique, he couldn't give up this chance. He didn't want to go back to those 6 months of misery. Host, please name the race, the system prompted again. Feng Yaoshan suppressed his discomfort, looked closer, and had an idea. He whispered, let's call them the two-winged insect race. Naming successful. Congratulations, host, for creating the two-winged insect race and becoming its ancestor. Task complete. Distributing rewards. Since the reward involved receiving the heritage of the blood-consuming sanctification art, Feng Yaoshan sat cross-legged and entered a meditative state as the distribution began. As for the first two-winged insect of the primordial world, it was currently floating above the 10 ancestors' cauldron, looking like a pet in a cage, enduring your curious gaze. Good grief, why is this thing so ugly? I know some ferocious beasts look haphazard, but this is just plain sloppy. People would think it's a product of nuclear radiation. Actually, if you look at it long enough, it does have a unique Cthulhu vibe. You looked away from the insect and rubbed your eyes. Sometimes, being ugly to the extreme can have an unexpected effect. For instance, this first insect possessed a mental pollution talent. In short, it was so ugly that looking at it for too long made one's eyes hurt. Interesting, I didn't expect a Cthulhu seed to sprout in the primordial world. In the future, this two-winged insect race might give me quite a surprise. With a smile, you stepped out of the cave. Squinting, the scene around you changed drastically. Countless golden rays of light were flowing from the direction of the phoenixes, surging like the Yangtze River flowing into the sea. The golden luck condensed above the cave, vaguely taking the form of a mournful phoenix. However, before it could struggle, it dispersed again. A black light shot into the golden luck, like ink into clear water. In a flash, it turned pitch black, forming the outline of a two-winged insect. At the same time, in the Wutong forest of the undying volcano, Yuan Feng snapped her eyes open. A look of shock flashed in her eyes as she looked up at the void in disbelief. The luck is fading. How bold, to dare steal the phoenix race's luck. When I catch you, I will throw you into the undying volcano to be scorched by flames for eons. Her fury manifested as flames burning in her eyes. Subconsciously, Yuan Feng identified the dragons and Qilins as the primary suspects. An overwhelming aura shot into the sky, warping the space around it. Darn it, after I deal with the dragons and Qilins, I must find a treasure to suppress our race's luck. Suppressing her rage, Yuan Feng returned to her meditation. The phoenix race did not yet have a supreme treasure to guard its luck. Therefore, even though she knew luck was being stolen, she couldn't leave. She needed to stay and suppress it personally. Just as Yuan Feng began her work, the luck stolen from the phoenixes had been converted by the ancestor system. The luck belonging to the two-winged insect race was gradually solidifying. However, just as everything was proceeding as the ancestor system expected, you, who had been waiting, finally made your move. Watching the luck in transition, your lips curled into a smile. The jade disc above your head trembled slightly, and a purple light flew out from it. The system's unique aura manifested, forming a circle around you. You curled your fingers, and two illusory threads appeared at your fingertips, vanishing into the void. One thread dove into the black luck before you. The other crossed the void to the dragon race, accurately finding and binding to Ji Yonggen. Open. Your voice, imbued with laws, echoed through the heavens. The threads trembled, and then a powerful suction erupted. Holding karma and backed by the heavenly Tao, you used your system to play both sides from the shadows. The many children system. There's a system stealing my energy. The ancestor system. There's a system robbing my luck. Two unlucky systems, both targeted, wondered who was backstabbing them. You, an ordinary, primordial cultivator. Aside from having the heavenly Tao as your big brother and Hongjun as your teacher, and having control over the primordial laws, were supposedly useless. At most, you were using your Deluo strength, and your own systems helped to bully other systems while in disguise. Is that it? Sensing the energy on the threads decreasing, you curled your lip and murmured, unsatisfied. With a wave of your sleeve, you covered up the crime scene. Your eyes flickered, and above the purple light in the jade disc, an illusory screen quietly appeared. Transmigrator Patriarch. You. System. Long Aeotian System. Evaluation. Petty systems, how laughable. To think they try to plot against the brilliant, handsome, and powerful. Extraordinary and peerless genius that is you, my lord. They've now received their retribution and have become innate treasures in a sense. After absorbing the energy from the other system, it has begun to evolve into a C-rank system. Not bad. You nodded with satisfaction at the subtitles appearing before you, although they were displayed based on your own will. And all the data was just a reflection of your thoughts. The sense of ceremony was still necessary. Ordinary transmigrators had serial numbers. How could the patriarch of transmigrators not have his own file? You glanced at the black luck shaped like the insect in the sky. Leaving a strand of divine sense, you flickered and crossed the void, leaving the area. According to your calculations, Feng Aoshan had finished creating his race. For the next period, he would be busy developing it and strengthening its luck. He wouldn't cause any troubles soon, and there was no fun in staying. As you left, a withered leaf fell from a branch. Before it hit the ground, you had already left the Phoenix territory and arrived at the Dragon Palace. To have such speed as a Deluo, well, the high-speed channel, built by the Heavenly Tao is truly impressive. A reliable brand indeed, in a luxuriously decorated palace in the northwest corner of the Dragon Palace. Ji Yonggan sat on his bed, reading his scripture very carefully. He even made notes on the complex parts. This studious and diligent state lasted for a long time. It wasn't until he reached the last page that he let out a long breath. Phew, this Dinluan Daofeng Sutra is truly a top-tier dual cultivation method. Even a basic mastery has benefited me greatly. Ji Yonggan commented with satisfaction, putting the scripture into his spatial ring. He then took out a jar of specially brewed medicinal wine and drank it all down. Dragon bodies are strong, but as an ambitious young man, it was essential to take care of his health and prevent issues early on. Ding! Detected host's 18th wife has successfully conceived. Task completed. The task is done? Hearing the prompt, Ji Yonggan was overjoyed. In 6 months, he had taken 38 concubines, exceeding the task requirement. He had also worked hard every night without fail. It was only because the dragon bloodline was so strong that the task took this long to complete. I remember the 18th wife was a clam spirit. She should be rewarded. With the ancestral dragon blood essence and his decent strength, Ji Yonggan now held quite a status in the Dragon Palace, although he hadn't been in the inner circle for long. Backed by the Dragon Palace's immense wealth, he didn't lack rare treasures. Phew, the feeling of sudden power growth is great. If I'm not mistaken, my current strength has reached the peak of Tai Golden Immortal. Once I fully digest the blood essence and cultivate for a bit, I'll enter the Deluo realm within 3 days. Sensing the surging magic power within him, Ji Yonggan murmured to himself. His heart filled with grand ambitions. One must know that the current world was in the midst of the cataclysm and hadn't entered the era of saints yet. Deluo's strength was the ceiling for cultivators today, the highest cultivation level allowed by the Heavenly Tao. Task: sharing joy is better than being alone. As a Deluo, you must have the resolve to save the world. Master the Chaos Dragon Emperor Sutra, and complete the small goal of 360 marriages. Reward: fragments of dragon grist. Collect 3 to charm a divine dragon. Half-step innate treasure. 10,000 dragons roar halberd. Hearing such a reward, Ji Yonggan's already excited spirit became even harder to suppress. Treasures in the primordial world were many, but mostly ordinary spiritual treasures. Innate treasures were not common goods. Famous ones included the Taiji diagram, the Pengu banner, and the Chaos bell. Any one of them was a powerful weapon that could shake the world. Even though the halberd was only half-step, it was still incredibly powerful. He let out a long breath and took a few deep inhales to calm himself down. Then he reviewed the task again, and his brow furrowed. Mastering the Chaos Dragon Emperor Sutra? That's going to be difficult. Recalling the cultivation method of the sutra in his mind, Ji Yonggan's expression became even more troubled. The title, Dragon Emperor, wasn't just for show. To achieve perfection, one must become the Dragon Emperor. Even basic mastery required recognition from the race's luck. Whatever, overthinking is useless. The priority is to break through to Deluo. Pushing those thoughts down, Ji Yonggan closed his eyes and his breathing became calm. A faint Tao rhythm began to circulate around him, filling the room with a mysterious aura. Looks like he's about to enter Deluo. Next, he'll plot for the dragon race's luck. You glanced at Ji Yonggan sitting on the bed, made a brief comment, and then shifted your gaze to the ancient book in your hand. Characters on the book were quite clear. It was the Dinluan Daofeng Sutra that Ji Yonggan had put in his spatial space. The power cap in the current primordial world was already set. No matter how amazing a system is, it wouldn't dare blatantly raise its host to quasi-saint or saint level. That would be an obvious slap in the face to the Heavenly Tao. Everyone's civilized here, you can't just flip the table whenever you want. 3 days passed in a flash. Amidst various heavenly visions, Ji Yonggan successfully entered the Deluo realm. As his eyes opened, a sharp glint flashed. Besides the joy of increased strength, there was another kind of excitement. He knew how to gain the recognition of the dragon race's luck. Luck is the manifestation of a race's will, invisible and formless, but with character. There are two ways to gain its recognition. One is to please the luck itself, such as leading the dragons to defeat the Keelins and Phoenixes, making the dragons the sole rulers of the primordial world. That would naturally grant luck. But for Ji Yongin, who just reached Deluo, that was a delusional pipe dream. Therefore, for Ji Yongin, the only way to gain recognition was through the second method. Find a way to strengthen and please the dragon people themselves. When the race as a whole benefited from him and the people trusted him, the race's luck, as a collective entity, would naturally recognize him. Divine techniques, treasures, spiritual plants. The wealthy dragon palace wouldn't care for those. So I have to take a different path to achieve my goal. Now that I made Deluo, I should see the ancestral dragon. I can use this chance to implement my plan. Ji Yongin murmured, going over his plan several more times in his head. Once sure, he stood up and headed toward the ancestral dragon's location. In the somewhat dim main hall, a pair of massive golden eyes snapped open. Golden light surged within them like two miniature suns. With every breath, clouds rolled and the world changed color. At one point, the mountain-sized body slowly moved. The mist in the hall was sucked into his nostrils like two tornadoes. The visions faded, and the 36 eternal lamps in the hall lit up again. It cost a vast amount of spiritual fruit and treasures to restore one drop of blood essence. Yuan Feng, first Keelin. This humiliation must be repaid with your own blood and bone. The murmurs echoed through the hall like thunder. The ferocity on the dragon's head flashed and vanished, replaced by majesty. As the ancestor of all dragons, he naturally sensed the appearance of a Deluo in the race. Even while cultivating, he could feel the other party flying toward him. When children get good grades, parents should naturally give them a reward. A tribesman breaking through to Deluo and coming for an audience meant he, as the ancestor, should give out some treasures as encouragement. It's an old tradition. During the cataclysm, a Deluo's strength was quite significant. Faced with this promising young tribesman who broke through so early, the dragon ancestor stopped his cultivation to wait for him. Good grief, as expected of a famous tycoon, this atmosphere is truly lavish. One cannot know the vastness of the four seas, nor the wealth of the dragon palace. Ji Yongin had been back in the race for a while, but he still didn't know how big the dragon palace actually was. Of course, as a Taiyi golden immortal, there were many places he wasn't allowed to enter. He considered them forbidden areas. Ji Yongin had never been to the main hall before. So, seeing such a luxurious building, he was briefly stunned. Deep down, a desire to possess it inevitably arose. The dragon's love for wealth was on full display here. From afar, the main hall looked like a pearl embedded in the deep sea. Infinite light shot into the sky, surrounded by vast laws and countless arrays. Hundreds of powerful, armored aquatic guards stood around the palace, radiating a majestic, murderous aura. Entering the hall, he saw golden lotuses appearing, innate treasures everywhere, and divine light shining. The palace was great and luxurious, but Ji Yongin only gave it a quick glance before looking away. Because the ancestral dragon's mountain-like head was right there, no one would dare look around carelessly. However, faced with the ancestral dragon's probing, substantive gaze, Ji Yongin didn't have the expected reaction. Perhaps his blood essence reached a certain standard, or the ancestor held back his pressure. Or the system was supporting him, or maybe the Chaos Dragon Emperor Sutra was strange. Ji Yongin didn't feel much fear toward that overwhelming pressure. Besides the necessary nervousness, he wasn't terrified. Dragon Jr. Ao Jia pays respects to the great ancestor. Ji Yongin bowed. As he spoke, a very bold, even offensive, thought appeared in his mind. This ancestor doesn't seem as scary as I thought. He doesn't feel invincible to me. I'm also a dragon. And with the system's help and the Dragon Emperor Sutra, does that mean I could also become the dragon ancestor? The ancestral dragon looked down at this extraordinary junior. He couldn't hide his appreciation, unaware of Ji Yongin's inner thoughts. To him, a tribesman who could maintain such poise under his pressure was a true talent. Thus, with the ancestor's appreciation and Ji Yongin's flattery, laughter actually appeared in the Dragon Palace's main hall for the first time in a while. After all, which elder doesn't like a handsome, well-spoken, and talented junior? The ancestral dragon was no exception. Seeing that the time was right, Ji Yongin changed the subject and began to express his devotion to the ancestor in the race, using the momentum to voice his idea. Ancestor, since the war began, although our race has peerless power, we have still suffered heavy losses against the Phoenixes and Keelins. I have a plan that can surely help our race win the war and unify the primordial world. Becoming the sole ruler, making all races submit and all generations sing our praises. Ji Yonggin's grand speech was full of sincerity. His earnestness was palpable, enough to move any dragon who heard it. For the ancestral dragon, who had been backstabbed and lost blood essence, this was music to his ears. Tell me more. Facing such tempting words, the ancestor's pupils widened slightly as he urged with a hint of anxiety. Our dragon race is one of the three great races, with incredibly strong bloodlines. Except for a few, almost no race can withstand our blood. A single drop of dragon blood is something their races can't wash away for generations. And compared to the phoenixes and Keelins, we have a huge, unique advantage over them. So, I suggest we start family planning, but the opposite. We should spread our blood across the entire world, and our race's luck will surely soar. Moreover, we will gain a continuous stream of excellent juniors. I call this strategy, Operation Many Children, Many Blessings. Ji Yonggen's voice echoed in the somewhat empty hall, striking hard at the ancestor's wisdom, which was clouded by the aura of cataclysm. The ancestor was moved. Unify the world, make all races submit. Those 8 words made the ancestral dragon tremble. This quasi-saint power, who could remain calm even if the sky collapsed, was now visibly shaking. The pie Ji Yonggen baked for him was big, round, and sweet. It touched his weak spot accurately and went straight to his heart. With the influence of the cataclysmic aura, he didn't think too much. Before Ji Yonggen finished, a thunderous laughter erupted from above. The sound was so loud that Ji Yonggen's ears rang, despite his Deluo strength. Very good, very good. Ao Ja, your plan is exactly what I want. If this Operation Many Children can be perfectly realized, our luck will reach a new peak, easily surpassing the other 2 races. By then, we will surely unify the primordial world for generations to come. And you, my dear grandson, will be our greatest hero. From now on, you are the crown prince of the dragon race, in charge of this operation. If anyone in the race dares to oppose you, you have the power to execute them first and report later. His dark golden eyes were filled with joy, though deep inside, there were tiny, vein-like streaks of gray cataclysmic aura. As the ancestor spoke, a golden light flew out of his body and landed on Ji Yonggen's forehead. The moment the light touched his skin, it burst with brightness and turned into a drop of gold and red liquid that embedded itself there. Countless lines shot out from it, forming a complex tattoo in a flash. If one looked closely, it depicted a 9-clawed golden dragon roaring at the heavens. Sensing the burning pain in his forehead, Ji Yonggen's lip couldn't help but twitch, yet he didn't dare move a muscle.